after he gets home.
Yeah, exactly. It's probably in the toiletry bag with his all-in-one shampoo and his shaving.
I think Meghan totally missed the memo, the message, which is that, yes, having a title is somewhat impressive in Hollywood. Not a lot of people have that, but very, 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 very few, even actors, have the level of following and the level of influence that the Kardashians, they have seen the great results of that. And Meghan Markle just can't do any of that. And she's also not authentic. And the Kardashians, like them or hate them, I think they do have a pretty good authenticity chip there.
Oh, you're not ready for this one? Because Meghan Markle thought she was about to strut right into Kris Jenner's glittering kingdom, only to be left standing outside like yesterday's news. Picture this, Meghan pulling up in her glossy SUV, convinced she was about to secure her spot with Hollywood's reigning queen of power moves. But guess what? The gates of Calabasas don't just swing open for anyone, certainly not for an uninvited duchess. What Meghan imagined as her grand Hollywood entrance ended up turning into one of the most humiliating scenes the celebrity world has witnessed in years. No red carpet, no cameras flashing in admiration, just a cold, still gate and whispers of rejection that now echo through Hollywood's gossip circles louder than ever.
His all-in-one shampoo and his shaving foam and his razor. Well, listen, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. We ought to do that, Kinsey. What about...
And here's where it gets juicier. The celebrity grapevine? Oh, it exploded. Reports came flying in. Meghan Markle actually tried to swing an unannounced visit to Kris Jenner's estate. Kris Jenner, the mastermind of reality television, the puppeteer pulling strings behind America's most famous family. Meghan thought this would be a power play, her golden ticket into Hollywood's upper echelon. But instead, it turned into what many are calling her most awkward misstep yet. Just imagine the optics. Meghan, who's been carefully curating her Hollywood persona since leaving royal life, being told, "Not today." For someone obsessed with control and strategy, this wasn't just embarrassing, it was devastating.
And it goes to show you where Meghan's really where she was always looking, which was not royalty, it was not being an actual influencer in the world. She really just wants to be a Kardashian.
See, Meghan has been laser focused since ditching royal duties. She's been throwing herself into interviews, Netflix deals, and carefully choreographed friendships with Hollywood's power players. She wanted to craft the image of a serious Hollywood operator, someone who belonged at the table with industry giants. But if Kris Jenner's Iron Gate proved anything, it's this. No matter how perfect Meghan thinks her playbook is, one wrong move can shatter it all in seconds. And let's be real, Hollywood isn't Windsor. Here, access is currency, and Meghan just tried to cash in a check that bounced.
Markle, how's her business empire growing?
So, Mark, there's a new story coming from the Daily Mail that says she has struggled to find a CEO for American Riviera Orchard. And they said that there are interesting...
Because in Hollywood, everything is about access. But here's the catch. Access doesn't come through entitlement. It comes through mutual benefit. Meghan waltzing up to Kris Jenner's estate unannounced? That wasn't bold, it was reckless. Kris isn't just a reality TV matriarch. She's a billion-dollar brand strategist who sees every interaction as a business move. If it doesn't add value, it's not happening. So Meghan showing up without warning wasn't just a faux pas, it was a fatal miscalculation. To Kris, that wasn't initiative, that was presumption.
A woman who married into the royal family, and they were just too, basically what she always said was too dumb for her, and that she went on and she was going to achieve these great things. No, Meghan.
Think about it. A meeting with Kris Jenner is never casual. It's a transaction, it's business. Every handshake, every smile, every glass of champagne, strategic. Meghan's sudden drop-in attempt might have been her way of fishing for collaborations or planting seeds for future projects, but without groundwork, without trust, without Kris seeing dollar signs, what did it look like? It looked pushy. It looked desperate. And in Hollywood, desperation doesn't climb ladders. It burns them.
And I think she proves that via this Instagram post.
I know, and then...
So instead of Meghan's surprise being seen as bold or charming, insiders are whispering that Kris saw it as nothing but an interruption. And trust me, in this town, first impressions stick like glue. One bad move and you're suddenly branded difficult or worse, desperate. And those are labels that cling forever. For Meghan, this wasn't just a little social stumble. This was a full-on strategic disaster.
She's not been able to secure a person. Somebody from Netflix has said, well, I've got a weird idea. What if we help you manage not only...
Picture it, Meghan's SUV creeping up to Kris Jenner's mansion gates, the engines humming, her team probably bracing for the grand reception, but instead of flashing lights and Kris welcoming her in with open arms, she met the ultimate Hollywood roadblock, the gatekeeper. And let me tell you, these aren't your average security guards. These are professionally trained guardians of Hollywood royalty, masters at filtering out exactly who does and doesn't get in. And for Meghan Markle, the verdict was crystal clear. She wasn't getting in.
Going to ally yourself with this family, is there not a bit of hypocrisy? Given the previous comments that they've made about, for example, the skin tone of their baby's skin. Now, I'm actually not calling the Kardashians out for that. I think they were having an honest conversation, but I think it does show you that...
Sources close to the Kardashian security setup say Meghan tried her best to explain why she was there. She even hinted that she had information, maybe even opportunities, that Kris would love to hear about. But here's the brutal truth. In Hollywood, gatekeepers follow protocol like gospel. No prior clearance, no entry, period. Doesn't matter if you're Meghan Markle, a royal runaway, or the Queen of England herself. If you're not on the list, you're not passing that gate. And Meghan wasn't on the list.
The products that could come out associated, whether that is jam or whether it's pots and pans, whatever that may be. Now, the Daily Mail has framed this as failure, but I think that this is a total win for Meghan Markle because Netflix has never done this.
So the call went up. Kris's team got the message. Meghan was downstairs, waiting. And the answer that came back? Just 3 words. Not today. 3 words that carry more sting than 1,000 tabloid headlines. Because in Hollywood, not today doesn't always mean maybe later. Sometimes it means don't bother ever again. For Meghan, who's used to walking into rooms where the red carpet is practically rolled out before her, the rejection wasn't just cold, it was humiliating.
Yes, because she wants the Kardashians' attention. She doesn't really care about the royal family. And you have to think about the time when Meghan Markle made those allegations. It was at the height of BLM
And if that wasn't brutal enough, here's the kicker. Kris Jenner didn't even take Meghan's call. That's right. When Meghan, realizing she wasn't getting past the security gate, suggested they check with Kris directly, the phone never rang. No polite brush off, no, let's do lunch soon, nothing. Just silence. And in Hollywood, silence is louder than words. Silence is a statement. And Kris made hers loud and clear. Meghan wasn't worth the time. Kris Jenner's refusal to even pick up the phone, that wasn't just about being busy. No, this was a calculated power move. Industry insiders know Kris's playbook inside out. If she had wanted to smooth things over, even with a quick, let's connect later, she could have, but she didn't. Her silence wasn't accidental, it was intentional, and the message was chillingly clear. Meghan Markle's value in Kris Jenner's world, non-existent. The gossip columns went into overdrive. PR experts whispered that even a polite brush-off could have softened the optics, but the stone-cold dismissal, that amplified the humiliation tenfold. It turned a small misstep into a full-blown headline. Meghan Markle, rejected at the gates.
Meghan's jam.
This is a family show, Mark.
And here's where the Hollywood gossip machine sharpened its claws. The Kardashian-Jenner empire thrives on strategic alliances. They don't just rub shoulders with anyone. Every connection has to add something. More fame, more money, more clout. So when Kris didn't see that spark of opportunity in Meghan, she had zero incentive to engage. That silence was her way of saying, you bring nothing to this table. And in a world where perception rules, silence is more damaging than criticism. Being ignored cuts deeper than being dragged. Meghan wasn't just shut out, she was erased.
Alleged racism narrative. No. She just wanted to leave the royal family because she desperately wanted to be a Kardashian.
And let's get real, this wasn't Meghan's first attempt. Oh no, honey. Word is she's been trying to worm her way into the Kardashian-Jenner circle for months. Whispered reports of lavish gift baskets, carefully curated presents, and subtle, let's be friends hints in interviews. Meghan's been dropping breadcrumbs everywhere, but Kris and her empire, they haven't bitten once.
She allegedly has sent these to 50 different celebrities, and what they're trying to do is allegedly...
The gossip mill even spun stories of Meghan sending over luxury baskets. Think champagne, rare wines, skincare products worth hundreds. She was practically waving a please notice me flag. But despite all these gestures, radio silence from the Kardashian side. Not a thank you post, not a dinner invite, not even a retweet. Meghan was left dangling struggling while Kris pretended she didn't even exist.
Work really hard, and Meghan Markle neither has talent nor a good work ethic. And so this whole idea that she was going to come to Hollywood and achieve the great things she couldn't on her own was always going to be a fool's errand, and I think we're really seeing that.
Because here's the thing, the Kardashians don't make moves without weighing every angle. Aligning with Meghan Markle isn't just about glitz, it's a PR gamble. Meghan's public image is polarizing. Half the world sees her as a freedom fighter who broke away from the royals. The other half, they see her as manipulative, opportunistic, and always playing the victim card. For Kris, the risk was obvious. Why tie her billion-dollar empire to someone who could drag down the brand with controversy? The Kardashians love scandal, sure, but only the kind they control. Meghan, she's a wild card, and Kris Jenner doesn't gamble. Because make no mistake, the Kardashians aren't afraid of drama. They thrive on it, but their alliances are carefully curated. They partner with those who can add to their empire, not drain it. If Kris and her daughters didn't see a strategic advantage in Meghan Markle, then her fate was sealed. And that fate? Distance. Cold, sharp distance. And that distance turned into the spectacle at the gates, the most visible, undeniable snub of them all. The one moment Meghan thought could be her breakthrough turned into a glaring reminder. In the Kardashian-Jenner world, Meghan Markle simply doesn't fit. But wait, it gets even juicier. Because guess who just happened to be there that day? The paparazzi. Oh yes, Meghan's SUV stalled at Kris Jenner's gates was caught in crisp, damning photos. And let's be clear, this wasn't some accidental sighting. The Kardashian-Jenners are masters of the paparazzi game. They know when, where, and how to be seen, or how to make sure someone else is seen. If those cameras were there, chances are Kris's team let it happen. And the images, brutal. Meghan waiting, no entry, no smiles, just rejection captured in high definition. Within hours, the shots went viral. Social media captions screamed, "Meghan Markle blocked at the gates." And Kris Jenner says no to Meghan. Suddenly, Meghan's PR team was scrambling. They pushed phrases like misunderstanding and mistimed visit, trying desperately to spin the story. But Hollywood wasn't buying it, because in this town, everyone knows Kris Jenner doesn't do misunderstandings. The gossip tide was unstoppable. Memes flooded Twitter, TikTok was ablaze with dramatic reenactments, and gossip podcasts couldn't get enough. Meghan wasn't just rejected. She was humiliated on a global scale. And let's not forget Kris's masterstroke. Her silence. No statement, no clarification, not a single word. In Hollywood, silence is never random, it's strategy. By staying quiet, Kris allowed the narrative to grow unchecked. Meghan Markle, shut out and ignored, while Kris Jenner kept sipping her wine unbothered. The symbolism was undeniable. Meghan wanted in. Kris said no, and the world saw it. The fallout from Meghan's gate debacle didn't just stop at one awkward afternoon, it snowballed into a full-blown PR nightmare. Because once the images of her stalled SUV hit the internet, Meghan's team went into damage control overdrive. Suddenly, sympathetic outlets were floating phrases like misunderstanding or mistimed visit. They tried to paint the whole incident as nothing more than a simple scheduling hiccup. But let's be honest, Hollywood insiders weren't buying it for a second. See, in this world, timing isn't just about showing up at the wrong hour. Timing is about context. It's about relationships. And Meghan showing up uninvited wasn't bad timing, it was bad strategy. And worse, the visuals told the real story. Paparazzi photos of Meghan's SUV parked outside, cameras catching every angle of her being denied, those became the defining narrative. And narratives in Hollywood? Once they're cemented, they're nearly impossible to reverse. Social media latched onto the story with claws. Twitter threads mocked the Duchess at the door, TikTok creators dramatized the SUV being turned away, and Instagram memes turned Kris Jenner into the Ice Queen barring Meghan's entry. Within days, the rejection wasn't just gossip, it was legend. And the more Meghan's camp tried to explain it away, the worse it looked. Every denial, every soft-spun excuse just poured gasoline on the fire. Instead of downplaying the humiliation, it magnified it. Meghan's attempt to minimize the story made it headline news for days longer than it ever needed to be. Now, let's not forget, the Kardashians didn't just ignore Meghan. They iced her out in the coldest way possible. Paparazzi photos, silence from Kris, and whispers planted across gossip channels. It all worked together like a symphony of rejection. And Kris Jenner's silence? Oh, it was deafening. Because here's the thing. In Hollywood, when you ignore someone, you erase them. A polite "we'll connect soon" keeps the door cracked. A harsh "no" at least sets boundaries. But silence? Silence says, you don't matter. And here's where the humiliation cuts even deeper. Meghan had been banking on this Kardashian-Jenner connection as her big Hollywood breakthrough. Aligning with Kris could have meant business deals, social clout, maybe even appearances on Hulu or brand tie-ins. Imagine the headlines, Duchess and Dynasty. It would have been Meghan's way of cementing herself as more than just an ex-royal. It would have made her a permanent Hollywood fixture. But instead, that dream shattered at the gates. What was supposed to be her golden ticket turned into her golden rejection. And Hollywood noticed. Because in this city, perception is everything. Meghan didn't look powerful, she didn't look savvy, she looked desperate. And once Hollywood smells desperation, you're done. The whispers only got louder. Insiders claimed Meghan had been angling for this Kardashian alliance for months, sending signals, dropping hints, even allegedly sending lavish gifts that were met with silence. The Gate fiasco? It wasn't a one-off. It was the climax of a long string of failed attempts. And the industry's verdict was unanimous. Kris Jenner didn't want her. Why? Because Meghan's brand is unpredictable. The Kardashians love controversy, but only when they're controlling the narrative. Meghan? She's polarizing. She comes with baggage, royal feuds, family drama, endless headlines about truth and betrayal. For Kris, the risks outweighed the rewards. The Kardashians don't gamble, they calculate. And they calculated that Meghan wasn't worth it. But perhaps the most brutal blow of all? The fact that Kris Jenner didn't even dignify the scandal with a statement. Not one word, not one tweet, not even a sarcastic quip. She didn't confirm it, she didn't deny it, she let Meghan twist in the wind. And that silence? It spoke volumes. Because silence in Hollywood isn't absence, it's a weapon. A denial could have softened Meghan's humiliation. A playful oops could have reframed it as harmless. But silence? Silence turned Meghan's rejection into a definitive statement. The Kardashian-Jenner gates didn't just stay closed, they slammed shut. And here's the kicker. Meghan's attempts to spin the story only backfired. Trying to call it a misunderstanding looked weak. Claiming it was just mistimed felt laughable. Gossip fans and insiders alike rolled their eyes. Because in this town, the truth isn't what you say, it's what people see. And what people saw was Meghan Markle, a former duchess, being denied entry into Kris Jenner's empire. The humiliation wasn't subtle, it was spectacular. Hollywood doesn't forget moments like this. Every producer, every agent, every studio head now has that image burned into their minds. Meghan Markle, the woman who once walked in palaces reduced to waiting outside gates, it wasn't just rejection, it was symbolism. And here's the ultimate sting. Meghan wanted in, but Kris didn't even want the conversation. In an industry built on networking, doors, and connections, Meghan found the ultimate one slammed in her face. Whatever Meghan had hoped to gain, alliances, influence, legitimacy, it evaporated. And the worst part? The entire world saw it happen. Now, the phrase blocked at the gate isn't just gossip. It's Meghan Markle's latest headline. A reminder that in Hollywood, no title, no backstory, no Netflix deal can guarantee you a seat at the table. Sometimes, even a duchess gets told you don't belong here. And Hollywood? Hollywood will never forget that Kris Jenner, the ultimate gatekeeper, kept Meghan Markle out. Kept Meghan Markle out. Kept Meghan...